Mr. President, one of the key priorities of Brazil's foreign policy is strengthening cooperation with Africa, the land of the forefathers of a significant part of the Brazilian people. With this purpose, Brazil has established a network of embassies in the African continent. Today, we are present in 34 African countries through resident embassies, including in Addis Ababa, the headquarters of the African Union. Brazil has also been one of the mentors and main supporters of the Africa-South America summits, the second of which took place less than a month ago in Isla Margarita, Venezuela. South America and Africa are building a bridge of dialogue and cooperation. Our common efforts have resulted in a significant increase of South American-African trade from $6 to $36 billion in the last 6 years. Mr. President, as Africa's owned and driven blueprint to development, NEPAD can count on Brazil's full support. Our approach to NEPAD is that of a call for a partnership with Africa rather than a partnership for Africa. Brazil believes in cooperation as a tool of technical and technological emancipation and as a conduit for sharing successful experiences in the fields of health, energy, and in particular, agriculture. Our cooperation with Africa is consistent with NEPAD's focus on agriculture as a means to wealth generation and poverty alleviation. The Brazilian Agriculture and Husbandry Research Company has opened an office in Accra, Ghana, through which it is cooperating with various African countries. To take this cooperation even further, Brazil will host a meeting of Ministers of Agriculture next year. We believe in the African potential for the production of biofuels. Brazil's experience in this area has enabled the development of one of the cleanest sources of energy that is sure to be in growing demand in the years to come without endangering food supply and food security. Mr. President, Brazil is aware of the impact of the global economic and financial crisis on African countries. We praise the efforts those countries are undertaking to tackle economic hardship aggravated by a situation of global financial disarray they cannot be held responsible for. Those efforts have to be supported. It is important that the international financial institutions are able to provide countries most in need with more liquidity and credit, subject to less conditionalities. Brazil is working towards this aim in the G20, together with other developing countries. Mr. President, the Secretary-General's note on the decade to roll back malaria gives us an updated picture of how different countries are faring in the fight to control and eradicate this serious tropical disease. Brazil is committed to the international fight against malaria through bilateral cooperation and through participation in multilateral efforts. Our engagement in the Global Fund to fight HIV/AIDS, as well as in the Rollback Malaria Partnership, reflect this commitment. The international community has made remarkable progress in the last few years in pursuit of the goals of achieving universal coverage of malaria prevention and treatment by December 2010 and reducing global malaria death by 50% from 2000 levels and to near zero preventable death by 2015. It is not acceptable that children continue to die from preventable diseases. Besides expanding the use of insecticide-treated nets, it is imperative that adequate mechanisms are put in place to ensure access to drugs for the treatment of malaria if we are to avoid preventable death and eliminate this scourge. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the representative.